Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram. And well, this Cricket Happening Show, it's all about victories in the test matches. India, it was something that India managed to get the wicket of Alistair Cook and Matt Pryor, and then finally it was very easy for India as India romped home by 9-wicket win. So India taking the lead in this series against England by getting a 1-0 lead in the series. Now, as far as Sri Lanka and New Zealand were concerned, it was a very quick end to this first test match of the series, with New Zealand once again putting up a very performance where they really struggled against spin. Rangana Herath was the one who was instrumental in rooting out the New Zealanders for 118, and finally the match ended on the third day itself with 2 days to spare, and the test match is already gone, with Sri Lanka going towards a 10-wicket victory in the first test of the series to take a 1-0 lead in the series. And Karunaratne for Sri Lanka on his debut got a 50, and not only that, being the debutant, he also hit the winning run. But well, first and foremost, let's go to the match between India and England. Now, yesterday I was telling you that Matt Pryor and Alistair Cook were at the crease, and it was very essential that on the final day, it was very essential for India to break that pair. And that's what precisely India did today. What they did is they got the early scalps of Matt Pryor and Alistair Cook. In fact, they stopped the partnership in the tracks. As you know, this partnership was growing by great lengths the previous day. When 97 for 7 was won, Samit Patel was dismissed. Now after that, Alistair Cook and Pryor had already done the hard work, and they were doing very well at that particular stage, as they had taken the England score to 340 with 10 runs ahead. But today it was a very different story to tell. In fact, only 66 runs were added by the last 5 wickets, with Alistair Cook and the wicket of Matt Pryor going to the best bowler for India, and it was Ojha who took both the wickets. In fact, it all started with today, Alistair Cook was the first to go, when with the English score on 365, Alistair Cook was clean bowled by Ojha, missing his double century. He was gone for 176 with 21 fours. And after that, Matt Pryor, in fact, before Alistair Cook, it was the first wicket to go was Matt Pryor and not Alistair Cook. In fact, Pryor was followed by Cook to the pavilion, because Pryor, what he did was he actually played a loose shot to a ball that held back from Ojha, and it was catching practice for Ojha, as Matt Pryor was walking, missing his century by 9 runs, out for 91 with 11 fours. After that, it was absolutely quick, with Tim Bresnan making 20 with 1 4, being a victim Tim Bresnan was the last man out, but before that it was Umesh Yadav who took Stuart Broad's wicket, who was cotton bowled for 3, and Graham Swan indulged in some big hitting by contributing a very quick fire 17 of just 31 deliveries with 2 4s and 1 6. The 1 6 that he hit was at the bowling of Ojha, but I thought it was Ashwin, but Ashwin was too smart in the next delivery, as his stumps were shattered by then, as Graham Swan missed the line of the ball from Ashwin. He was gone for 17. Anderson went not out on not, and Tim Bresnan was the last to go, as Zahir Khan got his second wicket, as Tim Bresnan was out for 20, and the England innings wound up for 406. So basically the English batsmen couldn't give up any resistance today. Now the bowling figures, Ojha in particular toiled hard, manly toil, 55 overs, 16 maidens, 120 runs and 4 wickets, and he has been really bowling superbly. Ravichandran Ashwin, even though he had only 1 wicket to his name of Graham Swan, also toiled hard, 43 overs, 9 maidens, 111 runs and 1 wicket. As far as the pace bowlers were concerned, Umesh Yadav on a track like this managed to get some bounce, managed to bowl with lots of pace. He had some reverse swing bowling too, and that netted in the rewards. 23 overs, 2 maidens, 70 runs and 3 wickets. Zahir Khan bowled 27.3 overs, 5 maidens, 59 runs and 2 wickets. Sehwag bowled 1 over for 1 run. Tendulkar bowled 1 over for 8 runs, and Yuvraj Singh bowled 4 overs for 17. For India, the target was just 86-87 runs, and it was, in fact, the target was 77 runs, and India completed that in no time. Yes, they got in fact today it was very good to see that India opened with Cheteshwar Pujara, who would have really gone with lots of confidence after the double century. He was the man of the match for sure. But what was interesting about India's move was Cheteshwar Pujara was sent along with Sehwag. That was good thinking by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Oh, probably, yeah, there was a reason for that, because Gautam Gambhir's grandmother had expired and he was back, and probably that's the reason it was Cheteshwar Pujara who was promoted in the batting order. And well, Cheteshwar Pujara in fact negotiated the new ball very well. In fact, there were only 2 overs. Alistair Cook just gave 2 overs to Anderson, which went for 10 runs. Other than that, he had the Graham Swan and Samit Patel bowling the rest of the overs. In fact, they shared almost 13 overs between them. But as far as Sehwag and Pujara were concerned, it was absolutely easy stuff for them. There was nothing to be worried about. Sehwag was playing his strokes. Cheteshwar Pujara was looking supremely confident with his stroke making. He was stroking the ball very, very sweetly because of the confidence that he had. And one also got to see Cheteshwar Pujara opening the batting and doing a very good job. In fact, he was there when the winning run was hit, when he remained unbeaten on 41. The Indian wicket that was lost was Virendra Sehwag, who was caught in the deep at long off of the bowling of Graham Swan for 25 of 21 balls with 1-4 and 1-6. Pujara, as I said, stroking the ball with supreme confidence, was not out on 41 with 8 boundaries. Virat Kohli did the winning hit for India. He was not out on 14 of 21 balls with 3 fours. The match was all over, 80 for 1. India had finished the match off and taken a 1-0 lead in the series by going 1-0. And well, it was a 9-wicket victory for India in the end. Even though England really scared India by putting that very, very important stand from Alistair Cook and Matt Pryor, but India were absolutely good on the field today. Right from the morning they took onto the field, and then they translated that into the batting. 80 for 1, India winning the match. James Anderson 2 overs for 10 runs. Swan was really carted, 7.3 overs on made and 1 for 46, and Samit Patel bowled 6 overs for 24 runs. In fact, it was the captain Alistair Cook deciding to bowl only his pacer Anderson. There was no sign of Stuart Broad or Tim Bresnan being given the ball. I wondered why that was. Probably he felt that was the final day, and no, the runs were very less to defend. But again, I think with the new cherry, you can always had a chance. Probably giving Tim Bresnan and Stuart Broad a chance. Well, I was a bit surprised on that. Because at least he could have just given a chance to them to see whether they could at least swing the ball or get some pace and bounce and get some wickets and start putting the pressure, and then the spinners come in and start troubling. But probably, well, Alistair Cook decided that is the way to go. But for India, well, India lead the 4-match series 1-0. The second match coming up, the second test match coming up at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai on Friday. So as far as as I said, India had to break that very, very stubborn stand for the 6th wicket between Matt Pryor and Alistair Cook, and that's what they did. They did pretty quickly, and Pragyan Ojha was responsible for that. But all in all, I think England would have to show more determination. Well, they definitely improved in the second innings, but I think probably they would learn their lessons, and they might come back a stronger unit now in Mumbai when they take on India. So, well, as I said, it has all been about victories as far as this cricket happening show is concerned. Now, I'm taking you down to Galle, where New Zealand, I was telling you that New Zealand did a good job by getting the Sri Lankans out for 247, keeping the lead to 26. But today, New Zealand's second innings also had the same fallibility as the previous one. The only difference being this time it was fallibility against the left-arm spin of Rangana Herath, who actually had the New Zealanders rooted out. In fact, his figures, 18 overs, 3 maidens, 43 runs and 6 wickets, in fact netting him the man of the match. Now, and he had a 9-wicket haul in the test match. As far as New Zealand were concerned, Martin Guptill was the first to go today, playing down the wrong line to Kulashekara, as he was clean bowled for 13 with 1-4. Kane Williamson was also a victim of Kulashekara, caught behind of Kulashekara for 10, 1-4. Ross Taylor, LBW bowled Herath for 18 with 2 fours. Daniel Flynn Daniel Flynn, it was very interesting to see Mahela Jayawardene set a field and how he actually plotted his downfall. He had a very strong onside field, and there were just two persons on the offside. Rangana Herath was absolutely doing his job as far as what his skipper wanted. He was absolutely pitching the ball on a perfect line, but there was one ball that he bowled on the offside, and in fact Daniel Flynn tried to get the probably being hemmed in by the onside fielders, tried to actually get the ball through the offside, but that was the only flaw that Flynn could commit, and that was Herath's wicket. As Daniel Flynn was beaten by the turn that Rangana Herath got, and Flynn saw his stumps being disturbed. So Daniel Flynn was bowled through the gate by Rangana Herath for 20 with 1-4. But as I said, it was very well plotted. Franklin was out in some unusual circumstances where the ball from Rangana Herath went on. Prasanna Jayawardene, the wicketkeeper, couldn't actually gather it properly. It came and hit on his chest, ricocheted off his chest onto the stumps, and Franklin was caught off guard, and it was all over. Franklin was walking, caught Jayawardene, bowled Herath for 2, and the only person, Van Wyk, was there, not out of 13, other than Rangana Herath, as I said, came in and bundled the New Zealand batsman. Doug Bracewell's LBW ball Herath. He got an arm ball which Doug Bracewell couldn't read. He was trapped LBW for a knot. Tim Southee came in and tried to run it away over the fence, but it was only just as Tim Southee was gone, stumped by Prasanna Jayawardene behind the wickets. All the bowling of Suresh ran away for 16 of 14 balls with 2 fours and 1 6. After that, it was Jeetan Patel and Trent Boult deciding to throw their bats around, which they did well. Trent Boult contributed 13 of 18 balls with 2 sixes. He was victim of Suresh Ranadive for 13. Jeetan Patel was gone for a duck of the bowling of Herath, and it was all over. Tim Southee and Trent Boult just throwing their bats around and at least managing to keep New Zealand over 100 runs. So 118 all out, and that set a target with the 26 runs. If you take it, it was a target of 92 runs. 92 runs was the target, and the Sri Lanka, and just talking about the bowling figures, just skipping on the bowling figures here. Kulishekara 12 overs 4 maidens, 2 for 28. Ranga none for 10. Rangana Herath already spoke about, 6 for 43. Ranadive had 2 for 37 of 10.1 overs and no maiden. As far as Sri Lanka were concerned, it was they had a 10-wicket victory here. They were 93 for no loss when the victory came. Sri Lanka taking a lead in the series. Today, Dimuth Karunaratne was very impressive on his debut. The other day we saw that when he got to his first innings, he was out for a blob. But today, it was a different Karunaratne. He definitely struggled. He was not so confident initially, probably having that initial nervousness. He came up with some orange gloves when he came in, fluorescent orange gloves. But then he stayed at the wicket and gave good company to Paranatana. In fact, Karunaratne picked up his 50. Today, it was a feature of his batting. He could play very well. He's a good player square on the offside. Hit some good short stops on the onside too. In fact, he was stroking the ball on both sides of the wicket. He was flicking it well. He was hitting it through mid-wicket. There were some pull shots being played, and Karunaratne looked very good in his knock. In fact, he went on to his 50 with 60 to his name of just of as many balls, with 9 fours. And also, let me tell you that Karunaratne, on his debut, on his international debut, hit the winning run for Sri Lanka to take Sri Lanka to a 10-wicket victory. At the other end was Saranga Pranavitana, who had contributed 31 unbeaten runs of 51 balls, 3 fours and 1 6. Sri Lanka had the victory by 10 wickets over New Zealand. 93 for no loss was the final score. And well, one could probably was a bit surprised that the best bowler for New Zealand, Tim Southee, was not to be seen at all. In fact, Tim Southee did not bowl a single over. Probably he was injured, and that's a precise reason. And I don't know whether that would have made a great difference, but yes, he could have probably, probably Sri Lanka might not have been got a victory by 10 wickets. Probably that would have been reduced. But anyway, one probably hopes that Tim Southee is fit for the next test. Well, as far as the bowling figures were concerned, Trent Boult 4 overs 1 maiden none for 15, bowled well. Doug Bracewell 5.3 overs no maiden none for 35. Jeetan Patel 5 overs 1 maiden none for 22. Franklin 3 overs for 15, and Kane Williamson bowling 1 over for 6 runs. And I think New Zealand have to really put all their cards on the table and see what really went wrong. Their fallibility against spin has definitely been exposed. They were exposed against India. They are once again exposed against Sri Lanka. That is something they need to really look seriously at. And this was a very flat track, not much runs scored, but Sri Lanka in the end capitalizing and seeing to it that they went on to a 10-wicket victory. So congratulations to Sri Lanka and India. That's it from me, your host Ram, for the cricket show of today. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.